video. I'm gonna be pressing some hats with the Hotronix 360, and I got like 36 hats to do. So that's why I figured I'll go live, and then that way, if you guys have any questions about what's going on, or if you want to learn about what is happening, this will be a perfect time for you to learn. I'm gonna be pressing on some AS Color hats. This is the 5-panel mesh. It's like an active running hat. And then I have a bunch of reflective transfers. So I'm gonna go get the transfers. Oh, there it is. The transfers are right here. So these are from Stalls. They're reflective. And if you notice, they're pre-cut. So the benefit of doing it this way is that you don't have to run your machine to cut the vinyl, weed the vinyl, and then press. And this way, you just gotta buy this in bulk, cut it up, and then you just have to streamline the process that way. So what I'm gonna first do is I'm gonna take the transfers. So I cut these. They don't come cut like this. They come in a, oh, my foot. They come in a jumbo sheet like this. And what I did was I grabbed my cutter, chopped it up. So now they look like this. Remove the paper backing. And then I put this border. Man, this chain gets stuck on this. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, so the reason why I have this border on it is because if I didn't have this, it would be hard to sorry, trying to get this in focus with the camera. We'll do it this way. All right, so if I didn't have this border, it'll be hard to tell where the middle is. But with this border, it's very easy because you just gotta fold it in half, and I leave a fold mark right here. And now I know where the center is. And then I remove the border because we don't want that on the design. And now it's ready to go. So this is the Reflective 2 from Stalls. And it's a little bit cheaper than the 3M, but I didn't pick it because it's cheaper. I picked it because it has a lower melting point, or a lower application temperature. And the reason why is because we're pressing on nylon hats. Nylon hats are very thin, so obviously like the material is more sensitive than cotton or polyester. So we gotta go with the lighter material to make sure that we don't scorch the fabric or anything else funky happens. I haven't had any issues with this hat. Everything's been pretty good. And oh, it's almost heated up. But yeah, so this is the 5-panel. I know some of y'all have asked me what the brand is or whatever, but this is the 5-panel from AS Color. It has the adjustable back, it's mesh on the sides. The brim comes very, very flat and straight, so you can curve it however you want. I usually curve the brim a little bit once I get the hat, but this one in particular, I really like it flat too, which is rare because I usually don't like the flat brims. And yeah, it comes with the tag right here. So what we're gonna do is just rip this up. Great tearaway tag. This is annoying me. It keeps getting stuck. But yeah, and then it also has this thing. So I take this out because obviously you don't want to press that. And then we're gonna knock out the first hat. So I have it set to 300 degrees, 12 seconds. Usually I give it 2 presses. So I'm gonna change the angle in a bit, but for now, you're gonna have to look from this angle, but we load up the hat, tug on the sides, and then we have this little closure here, which is cool because it pulls on the fabric to make sure it's nice and straight. And because it's nylon, you don't really need a pre-press, but I'll pre-press it anyways because I need to check the pressure since I was doing patches, and with patches, you go with the lower pressure versus with the transfers, you want to go heavier on the pressure. So now on the machine, it says OL, which means overload, so we don't want that. I'll probably scale it back to like a 6 or 7. It all has it in the interface right here. So now we're at an 8, so that's good for me. I'm gonna run it that way. Then I'm gonna get a little bit closer. So we're gonna grab the transfer. I know you can't see it right now, but you know, we'll get a better angle in a bit. I have a second tripod that I can switch it over to. I just wasn't sure how quickly everything was gonna heat up. But if you can see it, I'm placing the transfer in the center. And how do we know the center? Because I have the thing. And then we're gonna just drop it. Okay, cool. And I have this silicone pad thing right here. So the silicone pad thing is like the secondary press. And the reason why I don't use a Teflon sheet is because the Teflon sheet I have has like a texture on it. And just, oh, that's weird. It didn't transfer off. The fuck? I'm a little confused. Why didn't this come off? Oh, I'm such an idiot. So this machine, you can set the temperature on the top and the bottom. It appears that, because I was rushing to get this stream up, I heated up the bottom platen, but not the top platen. That's never happened before. But all right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna swap it. So I guess I can just bring the camera in. Maybe that'll help to see what's going on here. But you can see here, right here, I put the bottom set, and now we're gonna change this to 0. So we don't need the bottom. We're gonna shift the top to 300 degrees. Wow. That was crazy. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done on live. But shit happens, you know what I mean? But yeah, so now we're gonna wait for this to heat up again. But the good news is the top heats up way faster than the bottom. I was wondering why it was taking so long. So we have some time to kill. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna prep the hats. I'm gonna take all these tags off. And that's usually how I try to maximize the time, is like if you got something going on and you're waiting for something, just like work on something else, you know, because making clothing, it's all operational, right? There's so many different steps. There's so many different steps to the process, and it's usually how long does it take you to get from step 1 to the last step. So with this, we get to maximize our time by doing it this way. And because I fucked up unknowingly, this is how it's gonna go. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, because it's a perfect time to Q&A it up. If you haven't checked out my shop yet, I do have a design pack. It is 51 assets, 52 assets, something like that. And it's only $7.50. It's pretty cheap. And I use assets. Like sometimes when I can't design or like I forget how to do something, like usually the assets help me kind of get back in the groove. And you gotta look at it as like a toolbox. It's not really cheating. Like some people might think it's cheating, but at the same time, you know, we all use computers. We all use AI generative fill. Like, you know, we're using all these things that's available. So kind of depends on what you count as cheating. You know what I mean? You kind of define your own definition of that. But for me, I use packs when I feel like I need a little bit of help, and sometimes like starting with the pack can kind of inspire something else. So if you want to check it out, it's $7.50, which I think is pretty affordable. I mean, that's like less than a coffee these days. So good price, solid assets. I have, what is it, in the files, it's gonna be SVG, which is a vector file, and then you got PNGs. So you can put it in your what do you call it? The cutter programs. So for me, I got Silhouette Studio, which I don't really know how to use besides like loading up graphics and cutting it. So you can use it on Silhouette. You could probably use it on Cricut, I'm sure. Because I know that the paid ones, you gotta use, for the paid ones, you can load up vector files, but for the free ones, you can't load it up. So that's the difference, and that's why I have both PNGs and SVGs, because if you have an SVG, you can size it as big as you want. But with the PNG, you're kind of screwed. It's just like, it is what it is. You can go smaller, but you can't make it any bigger because you're gonna lose resolution. So I don't know who joined in, but hello, what's up? Yeah, I don't even know where the chat's supposed to pop up, but I guess if you type something, I'll see something. But yeah, we're running this hat right now. I fucked up on the heat up process. I actually put the, Yaman, what's up, what's up? How we doing? Where are you tuning in from? But essentially what happened was I accidentally heated up the bottom platen, not the top one. So when I peeled the vinyl, it went nowhere. And that was fucking funny because I've never done that before. But right now, so we're heating up the top and I'm just prepping the hats because I got about 32, 36, what is it, 32 hats? I forgot, one or the other. We're just trying to get this shit ready so that by the time this thing heats up, I don't gotta wait around. It just goes non-stop, you know, one after another. Because that's the thing with production, is like you don't want to be waiting around for stuff to happen. you want to always be maximizing like every second you have so that you don't have to do it later. Or at least that's how I look at it. So I just restocked these. Because to be honest, like I don't want to make these anymore. Like these don't take very long, but you know, it's still labor I got to do. And I might outsource it, but for me to outsource it, it's probably better for me to just make them myself. You know, that's why I still do it in-house. But most of my printed stuff, I don't do it in-house anymore. So if y'all have been wondering like why there's no heat pressing thing going on, it's because of that. I just don't really run the machines as much because I'm focused on like designing and growing the business, which is cool. I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna last forever, but this thing has got a lot of miles on them, you know? I used it to its fullest, and I can still use it if I need to crank out projects, but I don't have this to make shit for clients or anything like that. It's like all for me, so. And I think some people get confused. Like running your own brand is different from having the machine to do services for other people, right? Kind of like with the embroidery machine too. Like the embroidery machine is sick. If you want to see it, it's over here. Yeah, like I love the embroidery machine because the embroidery machine like gives me all the freedom that I want for embroidery stuff. And I absolutely like just love the freedom of like designing something and then making a hat like the next day. It's just so fucking cool. Plus like hats, I don't know. People just fuck with hats nowadays. I don't know what's up with that, but. And then these are transfers from stalls. So I ordered them pre-cut so I don't have to run the Cricut, or not the Cricut, the Silhouette, because that's another step that I'm just like, if I don't have to deal with it, I don't want to deal with it. And these are cool because you can order as little as like 50, I think, or maybe even 20. I forgot, something very small. But I usually order like 150 or 200 at a time because I know that this design sells. So if you're just starting out, you can order as little as you want. And what's good about that is you don't have to commit to a huge quantity and then it doesn't sell, right? Because that's like the worst thing is when you buy stuff and it doesn't sell and you're just kind of stuck with it. So we got this crazy tripod here. I'm gonna try and set the camera up so you can get a better view of the actual process. Oh, fuck. Where are you tuning in from? Or I guess there's two people. Where are you two tuning in from? That'd be cool to know. All right, so this is the machine. We got this thing, Montreal, hey. Shout out to Canada. Holding it down right now in these turbulent times. All right, is this gonna work? This looks very close. All right, well, we'll see what happens. So, here we go. This time we're gonna do it right. So, we got the hat. This is the 5-panel hat from AS Color. I already took the tag off. So we're gonna load this John up right here. And the light is right in front of my face, so I can't see it. I'm gonna put my head right here. All right, so we're gonna load it up, right? So that looks good. And then we're gonna bring down the arm so that we can flatten the surface. I noticed that this is also shaking. Sorry, guys. And then I'm gonna try and squeeze myself in to put the transfer on there. So this is the transfer from earlier that I pressed and it didn't stick because I didn't heat up the top platen. So I'm gonna come in here real quick. I'm gonna place the transfer. All right, we're gonna drop this. Just gonna go for 10 seconds. Then we're gonna do a hot peel. I'm gonna change the angle after this first one, but just so you guys can see it live in the mix. Just pops up, grab this, pop that fast. Put this back on, give it a second press, and then this just goes to the trash. Goodbye. And I usually don't give it a full like 10 seconds. I just kind of pop it open early. And then there it is. And I like to keep the insert because this makes the hat like pop up. And it looks nicer that way. I'm gonna brush off like the dust and stuff, but for now, this is the hat completed. And then I usually use a tag as well. If I can get this damn thing in here. It's just a weird angle with the camera in the way. But yeah. It's like this weird thing right here, which probably get it off later. But yeah, so this is it. And then we're gonna have to do this 30 more times, essentially. So, that's why we're here. If y'all have questions, let me know. Wow, this light is crazy. Okay. But yeah, this is a Q&A type session. So if y'all have questions about like running brands or like the blanks I'm using or I don't know, anything, let me know. Because this is what this stream is about. Just a Q&A kind of thing. Why'd I press it 2 times? So it's kind of like when you press it on clothing, like the second time kind of so this crazy arm is the reason why I was wobbling. But I pressed it 2 times because that like ensures the transfer from being like solid into the fabric. Like it's just binds onto the surface better. And like that way you don't have any funny business with like peeling or anything like that. I have here, I can show you all this hat. So this one, man, this was like one of the first ones I made. I've washed this like over 60 times because I wear this to go exercise. So I sweat in this a lot. And I sweat in it, so I run it through water and soap. And like, look at that. It's still intact, you know? And that's the second press. I think it's important to do that to ensure that it doesn't peel off. Maybe it's just like superstition, I don't know. But it does work. I haven't had any problems. No customers have complained. And that's always the key, is like to have no customers complain. Because this is the thing, right? The more you spend like perfecting what you're doing, the less issues you're gonna have in the end. And that's better than like just kind of half-assing stuff and having problems as you go. Because the more time you spend doing customer service, the less time you're gonna be running your business. Is it DTF or screen print? So this is a HTV. So this is a vinyl. It's a reflective vinyl. So it's neither. So yeah, I'm gonna peel it, and then this is some silicone pad. And the reason why it's a silicone pad is because this Teflon sheet that I have, it has like textures, and I noticed that the textures like get ingrained into the vinyl. So that's not good, right? So to prevent that, I essentially use the silicone pad. And I don't know, it just like smoothens out the surface as well. So I think there's a couple good things going on with the silicone pad. But yeah, this is it. This is the never-ending cycle of production. I want to see if I can get you guys a better angle. Is this a good angle? No, it's not. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, this is not DTF or screen print transfer. It's vinyl because I think reflective, especially like reflective on activewear, looks great, right? So something that I always say is like every material kind of has like its place for it. Like for example, like this patch, right? Like this patch will not be good on a shirt, but it's good on a hat. It might be good on a jacket, but if you can't like embroider it and if you're just pressing it, I feel like you should go with the hat because a hat gets washed way less than a jacket or a shirt. So always like think about the end application of it all. All right, let's see. I just want to make this a little bit more exciting for you all to view because I know seeing the back of my head is not that exciting, but that just might be the way it goes. This new angle and like new position that I have everything, it's very tough to come up with new camera angles. That's also some of the reason why I stopped recording certain things because I just can't get it to look good. Like everything's kind of like enclosed in this corner and I have a window to my right. So the lighting gets all messed up. It's tricky. You know, I just want to work, but we got to make content. We got to make the content. Everyone needs the content. Wait, what's going on in Montreal? It must be really cold. I know Canada's always cold. I've been to Montreal once, actually. No, I went to Edmonton. Is that Edmonton in Montreal? It is, right? I think. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been like 10 years. So I don't quite remember. Yeah, we got some copyright-free Beats in the background over there. Oh, it's in Vancouver. All right. My bad. Yeah, obviously I am not very versed in the Canadian world, but the couple times I've been there, it's very nice. It's pretty. I like places when like nature and like urban stuff kind of fuse together. Kind of like San Francisco is really good at that. Like one second you're in the city, and the next second you're like in a park. And I think that's like my favorite, is when you kind of switch between the two. Versus LA is very much like whatever LA is. It's tough to say. Like as much as I love living here, it definitely has a lot of drawbacks, but you know, there's nowhere that's perfect in the world. So you just gotta pick and choose. Plus I like that we're close to the airport, because that way when we fly out. You're wrong, yo, you gotta be right, man, if you're teaching me stuff. Because when I start sharing this information and I say some Canadian guy told me this, it better be correct, you know? But yeah, nah, I'm just playing, man. Oh, so do you run a brand? Do you have like machinery? What's the deal, man? What's the deal with you? And also, thanks for following my account. If you do follow it. If not, thanks for joining me anyways. But yeah, these are great because, oh, sportswear brands. So this is perfect. Yeah, this is like, so do you also use this kind of stuff? Like, do you get to source hats like this in Canada? Because I don't think AS Color has a Canadian distributor. I think everything is like imported through, right? Everything's imported from North America. Or sorry, not stupid. Everything is imported from America, US, the country of a lot of problems right now. Unfortunately, we are very sorry for what's happening there. A lot of us did not ask for it, but anyways, you have Cricut, heat press. Oh, dude, so you got everything. You got the whole fucking deal, man. That's awesome. What's like your specialty? Like, what do you sell most of? Just curious, because I started leaning into like the fitness workout stuff, and granted I only did one design with it, but that was because I had everything like made to order I had to cut everything and press everything, and I just didn't want to do it much longer. That's kind of like the story of my life is I make something and then people start buying it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to make this because it just takes so much time. Especially when you gotta go back and forth between like heat press and then cutter. My space is just not set up for that kind of operation anymore. It's very much like, if I gotta do one thing, that's cool, but if I gotta go back and forth, it just does not work out very well. One year ago, all right, dope. That is cool. Well, I'm happy that you've decided to take that leap. You know, it's hard. A lot of people get scared, or a lot of people get discouraged in like less than a year because they realize how much work this is, but that's really dope. Do you sell mostly online, or do you sell like at any like vendor fairs or like trade shows or whatever's, like pop-ups? Or is it all an e-commerce world? Yeah, it's a lot of money. Like, that's the thing people don't get is like, you know, people like to show off, oh, I made $10,000 this month. But the truth is like, they probably spend like fucking $8,000. So you're actually only making $2,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. Oh damn, I missed your message. I missed your message. But yeah, I think it's very misleading, and that's why I like to be transparent about everything. Because like, I'm not trying to sell people like a false dream, you know? I want people to know that it's hard, because it is fucking hard. But if you can crack the code, and like make it a living, it's fucking awesome. There's no other better feeling than like people buying and supporting the shit that you make, right? Because it's like, it's such a genuine approval of your taste, of your decisions. Like it's a very humbling experience, right? Because if it's garbage, people aren't gonna buy it. Like that's just the truth, you know. It sucks to be so like blunt about it, but it's just true. But like that's what's necessary, you know. Like I think it's cool that anyone can start, but I also feel like there's this false sense of like anyone can run a brand kind of shit, and people aren't equipped like mentally to deal with it, or like they don't really understand what it takes to do it. And I think with technology kind of making things a lot easier, like especially AI coming in and like making people think that they can design everything, it's just kind of weird to me. Because the essence of like graphic design is the person making something, right? But when you type it in and the AI does it, and everyone else has like very similar things, it's like you're not, like what's special about your brand? Your brand has no true meaning. It's just a design. But I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like people are just like, oh, this looks cool, let me sell this on a shirt. But then you're not really building a brand. You're just putting random shit on shirts and selling it. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's how I feel about it. Like I use AI for like fixing my graphics, like, you know, generative fill is incredible. Like I love using generative fill or like generative expand, because most times like my graphics, sometimes I might need a little bit of help with getting some composition like into the picture, and then the generative expand just like knows what to do. And that's cool, but like I make like 95% of it. It's just like the extra 5% help. You know what I mean? Like I think that's what's important, and that's what needs to be kind of emphasized on versus like, oh, I can automate everything I do with AI. It's like, I don't know. It's really weird. Weird times we live in. But for some of the new people coming in, I'm basically pressing some hats using the Hotronix IQ360 hat press. And what happened was I had the top platen not heated. I just heated the bottom one like an idiot. So I had to wait a little bit to reheat it up, but we're cranking right now. I think I got through a good amount already. These are fast. Another thing with like production is try and get hot peel if you can. Like I hate cold peel. Cold peel is like the worst thing with like vinyl, because like you can't fucking move fast. You have to wait. Especially you have to press it again. Like you gotta basically either use like a air compressor to cool it down, or you gotta wait. So it just doesn't flow well when you're trying to get shit done, you know? Jose, what's up? You got that press? Dude, hell yeah. This hat press is like, you can't even compare this to anything else with like, well, I don't know. Maybe there's other ones now. But when I got this like 2 years ago, I remember I was kind of like reluctant in showing people like, or like, okay, so I don't know if y'all know this, but I was basically getting paid by Heat Press Nation through like a collaborators agreement where, you know, they didn't tell me what to do. So that's like the first thing is like, they're really cool with like, do whatever you want, but like, you know, make sure you tag us. So I was like, all right. So basically I've been, you know, using this, tagging them. And I felt kind of weird because I was like, you know, this machine's like $2,000 almost. Like, I don't feel that comfortable telling people like, you should check this out and buy it. But after seeing all the other hat presses out there, dude, this thing is like 1,000 times better. So, and I've used this so much. Like, this shit has made me so much money because of like just how easy it is. Like, these hat press transfers is just a no-brainer, you know? Especially when you compare it to real embroidery. Because obviously, like, I like real embroidery, but sometimes like that shit gets very stressful. Like it makes a lot of fucking sounds. One hat could take like up to 15-20 minutes. This thing takes like 10 seconds per press, you know? You see how fast this is going. I'm almost done with like 18 hats. So that's something to think about, is every material, every like combination of fabric kind of has its own purpose. And like with active wear, you know, you don't necessarily need an embroidered hat if you're going to be active. Like I'd rather have a utility based thing. Like this will reflect at nighttime, so if someone's working out, you know, they got that, you got that extra safety net. Plus like that was the whole, you know, that's what the design is for anyways. Like I made this for like working out, but also like, I don't know, kind of low key, kind of low key, keeping it moving. That's what this is about. I'm sorry if anyone said something and I missed it. I'm trying to check the chat as much as I can. But I also got to pay attention so I don't mess up this hat while I'm like turned around. And that's why I don't ship anything while I'm like talking and streaming, because like I did that once and I fucked up on some shipments. I just wasn't paying attention, you know? So none of that anymore. Now we just press hats. Very easy, very simple behavior, you know? But let's see, what else can we talk about? We just had impressions. Impressions happened in late January, and now it's, oh shit, it's almost March. Man, it's been a weird year, you know, because like 2025 came into the year. California went through some fire shit. It was crazy. And then like now we're, you know, kind of dealing with other things as a country. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird trying to sell things, but it's like, this is my business, so I have to kind of keep it moving. So trying to be aware, but also like, this is how I fucking pay for my shit. So we got to keep moving. Got to keep educating, you know? And speaking of educating, I'm actually working on like I don't want to call it an ebook. I just feel like the ebook like reputation is not very good. But I'm working on this document, let's call it a document, that basically breaks down running a business like this. And I tell you how I do it, so you can kind of get a glimpse of like, you know, maybe you can compare it to how you run things to how I run things, and maybe you might learn something. Or if you're starting from scratch, like that's kind of who it's more so for, is the people who are just starting out and they probably only have like a couple of months of experience. So I'm working on that. I also have a chapter based on just blanks. So all the blanks that I use, where I source them from, my personal opinions on them, the specs and all that shit, like compiled into one place. So I'll probably be dropping that soon. The compiled blanks list, which is gonna be like this ultimate list of brands like LA Apparel, AS Color, you know, all the ones that I use, but it's like all in one sheet. And I'm gonna continuously update it as I find new stuff that I use. So it's like a live document. So that'll be releasing in a couple weeks, I hope. I just keep procrastinating with it because it's like, it's not that very fun to be writing about stuff. So I write like a chapter and then I kind of like, you know, I'm like, I'll do it later. It kind of feels like schoolwork a little bit, which like I kind of don't care about, you know? So yeah, that's dropping. And then I'm also dedicating a section to artists, like DJs, musicians, or honestly anyone that wants to start making merch and doesn't know how to do it. So it'll be covering like, you know, how to do print on demand, how to do, what do you call it? Yeah, I mean, actually, it's just like a guide on how to get started, basically, but with a musician's like mindset, because musicians don't make a lot of money, you know? It's tough, it's fucking hard. That's why, honestly, kind of why I had to shift directions, which I'm happy with. Like, this shit's been popping off, but yeah, being a musician is very hard. It's tough because when you take it too personally and it becomes a business, you just stop liking it, you know? I saw a question about which platform. I use Shopify. So Shopify is my main website. And then I use Instagram Shop. And I also have Etsy that I never really promote. I was thinking about running some email campaigns soon on my Etsy, because my Etsy stuff is like probably like $10 cheaper. But that's because I don't sell like my premium stuff on Etsy. I'm trying to have like a different like tier system, basically. So like Etsy is like the cheaper shit, and then my site is like the higher quality stuff. But that doesn't mean like I'm selling trash on Etsy, you know? It's just like I don't want someone to come to my site and opt for like the $30 shirt when I can sell them the $45 shirt, because that ultimately the LA Apparel aligns better with like what I really like things to fit, versus like Comfort Colors shirts are like, it's good for the average person, you know? There's nothing wrong with them, but I don't wear comfort colors anymore. You know, I haven't worn comfort colors in years. So it's like, it's more for the general people who are like just trying to get something for a purpose. Like versus my clothing brand, like I want people to actually wear it in the long term. You know, I want them to have it in their closet for like at least a couple years. You know, that'd be nice. So that's the difference. Like it's built to last versus like built to kind of just be more casual. But comfort colors are also getting pretty expensive. It's like $650 now for a shirt, I think, or maybe $5.60, $7. I don't think it's $7 yet, right? But it's getting up there. It's really crazy. Because I wouldn't buy comfort colors for $7. That's crazy. That's way too expensive. So yeah, in the guide, I'll be talking about like which blanks that I like. Do I think HTV on a t-shirt can last a couple of years? Yeah, absolutely. I have shirts that I pressed like my first couple months of having it. I have brick on it and it's still fine. Like granted, I don't wear the shirt as much anymore, you know, which I think has to do a lot with it as well, is like how often do you wear it, right? Like a lot of my shirts that I wear a lot are my active stuff. So I didn't sell these, but I have like these mesh shirts from Sport Tech. That was the very, very first shirt that I pressed. It was like a Sport Tech mesh shirt. And I used some kind of Stalls HTV. I forgot which one it was. It was like called Electric or something like that. But I still wear that shirt. For the customers, it's a good option. Yeah, it's good. I mean, look, I haven't had any, like, when I think of like something peeling and looking like shit, I can't name one thing that I have that has done that, you know? Because, like I said, the more you wear it, the more it's gonna kind of fall apart, right? But screen printed shirts also get cracked and shit, right? Over time, there's like nothing is safe. Even embroidery gets a little wonky unless it's like super dense and has the right backing and all this stuff. But it can't be on a t-shirt. Like t-shirt embroidery never really lasts that well. But like a jacket or something like that, something like a little bit more solid, will probably last significantly longer. But I can't say that I have anything where I look at it and I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have sold this thing. So I'm glad, because obviously like when I first started, like I don't know how long these things last. You know, because you can wash test things, but you don't really know how long it's gonna last, right? Because the way people wash it, the way people wear it, it's all gonna change up. Favorite HTV vendor? So I would say that I think Caesar's the most solid. Like just across the board, if I had to just go through one person, I think I'll pick Caesar, because Caesar's got the brick. Their reflective is pretty solid. What else? Like I don't use any of their like normal Flex Weedos or whatever the fuck it's called. Like I don't like normal materials. I like things that are specialized. So in terms of like specialized stuff, like their flock was okay. The puff, their puff is also okay, because as I don't know if y'all know this, but Econo transfer is no longer being sold, and that kind of sucks because their puff was like significantly better than the rest, but it is what it is. And yeah, I do miss the Econo puff, but Caesar puff is a okay second place substitute. And I heard Atlanta Vinyl also has like pretty good puff. I haven't checked it out, because again, like, you know, I'm not trying to expand my HTV line at home because I don't want to do it, honestly. Like I just don't want to fucking put time into this because I got other things to worry about. But if people want me to test stuff out and they send it to me and they, you know, send me a couple bucks, yeah, you know, why not? I'll test it for you, you know. But for right now, I just got the Caesar reflective, the Stalls reflective, and yeah, the puff. Because I don't know what else I would use. Like, I don't use glitter. I don't use... What else do I not use? I don't like the hologram stuff. Like, I don't really care for that, you know? Like, I got a heat press because of plastisol transfers, which is just like the straight up, like, just ink, right? HTV in general, I think it's cool when people can make crazy stuff with it, but that's just like not what I like. Like I don't design like that, so it doesn't appeal to me to personally like kind of explore that option. But I do respect the people who do some crazy shit with it. Like Patrick from Caesar. I don't know if you all know him. He's like the main guy. But he was wearing this jersey at ISS, and it was like, he said it was like 6 layers or something like that. And I was like, how do you have so much, or like, because I know he probably didn't make it, or maybe he did. But I was like, how do you have so much patience and time to figure that out, you know? I just want to press it once and get it over with. Like, I don't care about layering and all this. So I respect the people, like the craft ladies, they got that shit figured out. It's really cool. It is really, really cool, but it just does not appeal to me or my customer base, so I just don't really fuck with it. But yeah, I think Brick's gotta be my favorite. Brick and Reflective, like those two are solid, like number 1 and 2. Because people just love the Brick. Especially when I do like black on black. It's just so clean. Such a clean experience. Do y'all have like a favorite? Whether it's HTV or company. I think I saw you say HTV Ront. I know HTV Ront, I kind of, in the beginning, thought they're like, I don't know, like a scam or something like that, just because like the way they rolled everything out so fast, and they had every influencer talking about the Ront press. But I guess their stuff is solid, so my bad for thinking you're a scam. But I don't think you can blame me for thinking that, because like the rollout was just extreme, you know? All right, I think I might just do this one batch, because this is gonna take a lot longer, and my phone's actually not gonna record more than 50 minutes, because I have like a timer on it, so I don't overuse it. So it's gonna be shutting off in a bit. But 18 hats, not too bad. Just knocking them all out. Another thing I really like about this press is like, I never really had to do much maintenance on it. Like I think I put a little bit of grease on some of the joints, but that's about it. Like I never had any problems. Oh, I guess I had a little bit of an issue, like this top part. I think that part was getting loose. I just had to use a screwdriver to tighten it up, but. All right, yeah man, thanks for joining me. Take it easy. Stay safe, stay warm. Keep up the good work. We're all just trying to do some fun shit, you know? I feel like I just talked for 40 minutes straight. It's kind of a lot for me. Like, it's a lot of talking, a lot of random topics you gotta fire out from your head. That's why it helps a lot when you have someone else like asking questions, right? Because that way you just kind of react and respond versus like spinning off topics for that long. It's just kind of like, am I boring other people? What am I even talking about? But this hat is actually made with this guy here. I sourced the patch from Quality Patches. If you have ever been to a trade show, you've definitely seen Quality Patches. They're always there. And they ship pretty fast, I think. This is the batch that I got. One in the black colorway, and then the other in the, call this the OG colorway, because this is like the more accurate to original look. But I like the red and black. It's a little bit easier to match with stuff. Things sticking out. You guys ever notice like, this has been a thing with the DJI mics now? I think it looks so much better, and it doesn't hang off the front, which I like. Because before, I was just letting that shit rip on the front, and it looked kind of ugly. And it also made my shirt like sag in the front, and it would hit stuff. So I don't think it was pleasant for anyone. But now we all solved this technique, this slightly enclosed experience. So for those that are not familiar, the pre-press, like the first press, I just do that to make sure the surface is flat. There's no moisture, like, I mean, if there is, very minimal, because this is nylon. And also, you don't want your nylon to warp, because if you do a temperature that's like over 300 and you let it sit on the nylon, it's gonna probably warp and like get all wrinkly. So this kind of helps, like the fast release, the lower temperature, and the silicone helps it from wrinkling. So that's why I use the silicone instead of the Teflon sheet. And also the Teflon sheet tends to leave a mark on the transfer when it's like still kind of warm and it's malleable. So yeah, that's why I use this thing. It's like an oven sheet, an oven silicone sheet. So I just chopped it up, essentially. But yeah, if you have any final questions, because I'm gonna sign off in a bit, just let me know in the comments or in the chat. Let it in the chat. And if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna just kind of ramble about the book real fast. So I'm working on a course type book situation where it breaks down the different elements of running a brand. So all the way from websites to advertising, designing, production, you know, all the topics basically is going to be written out in this document. And I have subsections of garment sourcing, which is going to be like its own book or like its own document. And then like apparel for artists or DJs or musicians, because I know a lot of people start or like they want to start, but they don't know how to do it right, or like they just don't know the resources. So it's kind of like a get started quick guide. So I'll be dropping those in a few weeks, I hope. It's just that I gotta write it still. I wrote like a pretty good amount. It's probably the most I've written in a long time, but I'm trying to make sure that the formatting is good and, you know, there's pictures and it's exciting, because I just feel like a very dense document with words is gonna be not that fun to read through. I want it to be like easy. Like I want you to open it and be like, I actually want to read it, versus, fuck, this feels like I'm in school, you know? Like being a good teacher is hard, because you got to be able to connect with your students, but also not fucking bore them, but also give them good information and be a good resource. Do I do cut and sew? Like, do I use cut and sew? Like, do I work with cut and sew? Because yes, I do work with a lot of cut and sew vendors. That's how I get my jerseys done, is I work with my vendors. And there'll be also a chapter about cut and sew, like how to do it, how I do it, like the costs associated with it. Because yesterday there was actually some kind of comment that I left and people were like responding to a lot. I forgot what their Instagram is, but basically it's one of those like, oh, how much is this? What's the MOQ kind of shit? And I was like, you know, a lot of vendors like say something's 20 bucks, but then once you actually make it with the vendor, it becomes like 25 or 30 or even like 35 because of all the fees, and like what they show might not be what you want to make, and then the price changes, you know? So I don't know, I just trying to speak up a little bit when I see information like that. So that's essentially what the document will also cover, is like, you know, how to negotiate, how to work with MOQs and all that stuff, because it's a lot to learn. So I'm done with this for now. It's like 18 hats. 18 hats in like 30 minutes. Not the best, but I'm also speaking and stuff, so a little bit slower that way. But yeah, just wanted to do this video, live stream. I don't know if y'all like this format, but sometimes like it's a little bit easier for me to just pop up the camera, start talking, and then do work, versus like stopping everything to make the video and then edit it, upload it. Y'all know the deal. So anyway, thanks for those who joined me today. It's always nice to see other people ask questions. And that is exactly what I was talking about. It was gonna log me out because I limit how much time I have on each social media. But anyway, so I'm gonna shut this video off now. But yeah, if y'all have any questions, let me know in the chat or the comments. You know I'm always there to help answer. And most of the time, if y'all have questions and I talk about it, then I don't answer, because I want you to find the answer yourself. Because that's just the kind of person I am. So anyway, thank you all for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.